very active with things around the house now because of FES. I even vacuum. Guys, I vacuum.
And your grandchildren?
They're going to get me do we next.
Yeah.
We dance. Can you imagine dancing?
My therapist, she don't like it when I jump because it frightens her, but when the spirit get hold of me, I even leave the ground with both feet. And I never thought I would do that again.
Because I have this cousin who's always pestering me about getting into tennis. We actually tried it and found out that with this implant, I can hold this racket. And it really did, at that point, open up a whole different realm of activity.
Play soccer, keeping up with them. Playing cards, that's something I just started doing. Teaching my grandson how to play rummy, and I can deal the cards out with my right hand. He's patient enough to wait for me, but I can do it. Would that be a good story?
The FES Center was founded about 25 years ago, and our objectives at the time were to bring this technology to help people to regain their independence, their quality of life, their happiness, their productivity.
Their role in our research program is absolutely critical. Without them, we can hypothesize, we can try to develop devices, but if we don't get the opportunity to test them in patients, we won't know if they actually make a difference, and we won't know how to improve upon them.
So in order to do that, we have to do clinical trials, and ultimately we want this to be out in the community so that our stroke patients, spinal cord injury patients, MS patients can indeed walk, use their arm and leg, and of course there is where the greatest satisfaction as a physician and as a scientist, and that is to improve the quality of life of our patients.
Almost 10 years ago, my husband Tom suffered a horrific stroke.
Well, I had my stroke in 2003.
I was stopped at a light, and that's when I was rear-ended by a car.
In the year 2007, I had the stroke.
I didn't think it was horrific till I got to the hospital.
I don't remember the accident, but I don't remember much until about a month later.
At the start, my leg, my arm, my speech were affected.
Left side of his body was totally paralyzed. His speech had been damaged, and his vision was probably going to be affected.
I had a problem dragging my foot as well as the use of my right hand.
He informed me that my husband would not be walking, wouldn't read again.
Not acceptable.
Would have other issues that couldn't be fixed.
When I was initially injured, I was looking for what new therapies there were, what's available for someone with a spinal cord injury. And of course I knew at the time that there was no cure for spinal cord injury.
Reading through the paper one day, I came across a device that I thought would help him.
My sister started to find information out about programs that were available beyond just typical therapy.
So my doctor suggested, Dr. Chase suggested that I try the FES study to see if I could get some good use in my hand.
I realized that I need to keep my body healthy.
That's when I started to look into these additional options.
And found FES as a vehicle to do that.
What a person who has had a stroke or a spinal cord injury is looking for is the ability to be independent and contributing.
We are committed to doing clinical trials for several reasons. First, we developed many innovative approaches to dealing with severe neurological injuries.
We've been developing systems that we try to focus on the needs of the patients, try to identify the things that they need to accomplish during the day and make the systems applicable.
So the FES Center was founded about 25 years ago, and our goal was to bring FES technology to make it possible for people to regain their independence, to regain their productivity, to regain their happiness, and be achieving their own goals in life.
Right from the get-go, I had a lot of instant success with it.
I have much more of a functional movement in my hand.
I have a lot more strength and dexterity.
After the study, I can lift my leg. I feel like I can really walk without a cane and not tire out so quick, or maybe not at all now, mile, 2 miles.
I'm over 300,000 steps.
We definitely think it's due to the fact that he was in all of these protocols with FES.
FES gave me a chance. I took it, Maria. My second chance is to tell everybody else what they should be doing and what's available to them.
Our job, our responsibility, is really to bring those discoveries into common clinical care and to enable people to regain their lives.
You don't realize the things that you've lost and how important they are to you until you get them back. For example, writing with your right hand, texting with your right hand. You don't realize how important these things are until you can't do them anymore.
If you haven't experienced a disability, you can't imagine what limitations those are to your life.
With this FES study, I got a lot of those functions back.
In 1986, we implanted the first device to enable a person with spinal cord injury to regain hand function. He is still using that device every day after all these years. I realized we could do this with so many more people.
I've learned to use my hand grasp system in different ways, and that has just made me glad to be more independent of other people.
It's exciting. I'm an old man. I'm 77 years old, and I see a new life in front of me.
I just can't express enough how it's changed my whole outlook, my demeanor. I'm a happy person.
Now I could be a husband, a father, a homeowner, a productive member of society, and now move forward and help other people with spinal cord injury do the same.
I turn my trunk system on with the FES system. I feel rigid. I feel muscles below my injury line that I haven't felt in a long time, and it feels good.
In terms of independence, I'm able to get out of the wheelchair, move around and get into places where the wheelchair normally wouldn't be able to go, and be able to do things that I normally wouldn't be able to do.
And one of my requests was to be able to do my own mascara, do all my eyeshadow, and I don't have to ask for help or wait on help anymore.
I was able to get back to cooking and shopping.
I gotten back into preaching. I got back into teaching. I got back into praise dancing. I do all of that now. You know, when I get happy, we just praise God, and I do that now, you know.
FES let me reach my goal of walking again. My next FES program protocol is to strengthen my arm to be able to golf again. What a joy that's going to be.
If we can, through our FES programs, enable people to regain those functions, which we are, we really have changed their lives.